Welcome. You've just landed in a space where we dive deep into the complexities of emotional connections, relationships, and the subtle cues that can reveal how someone feels. Whether you're here to better understand the dynamics of attraction, decode the signals in your own relationships, or simply become more aware of the hidden emotional currents that influence our behavior, you're in the right place. Today, we'll be exploring something many of us experience but often fail to fully recognize: how certain actions, words, and even moments can reveal someone's true emotional investment. From the messages she sends to the playful teasing and subtle signs of jealousy, there's so much more going on beneath the surface of any interaction than we might first realize. The truth is, people often communicate their feelings in ways that don't require words, and it's the small things, the little details, that can speak volumes. So, if you've ever wondered what a woman might be thinking when she flirts with you more, or why she brings up past moments, or even what those quiet pauses mean in between conversations, you're about to find out. By understanding these clues, you'll not only learn how to interpret the hidden language of attraction, but also how to navigate your relationships with more insight and confidence. Get ready to dive into the powerful psychology of emotional connections as we break down the signs that reveal when she's still thinking about you and how you can use this understanding to build stronger, more meaningful bonds. Let's begin. Number 1. When she reaches out first. When a woman reaches out first, it's often one of the clearest indicators that she's emotionally invested and thinking about you. In the world of modern communication, where both men and women often play the waiting game, the act of initiating contact is a powerful gesture. It speaks volumes about her level of interest and her desire to connect with you, whether it's through a simple text, a casual phone call, or an unexpected message on social media. When she reaches out first, it's more than just an attempt to pass time or fill a moment of boredom. It's a sign of emotional availability and a genuine interest in keeping the bond strong. This initial outreach often goes beyond the surface level. It can be about much more than just maintaining a conversation. For many women, reaching out first is a way of showing vulnerability, as it requires them to take the initiative and potentially face rejection. When a woman takes this step, she's showing courage and an openness to connecting, making it clear that she values the relationship. It's not something done lightly. For her, initiating contact may signify that she's emotionally invested and wants to maintain or rekindle the connection. One of the key things to consider is the timing of her message. If she reaches out when you haven't communicated for a while, it's often an indication that she misses the emotional connection you once shared. Life can get busy, and sometimes distance naturally creeps in between people. However, if she makes the effort to close that gap by reaching out, it's because she wants to ensure that the emotional bond is not lost. She might even be testing the waters, hoping for reassurance that the feelings between you are still mutual. Another significant aspect of her reaching out is the nature of her communication. Is it casual, or does she engage in deeper, more meaningful conversations? If she dives into more personal topics or asks about your well-being, it shows a level of care and concern. She's not just reaching out to pass the time, she's seeking a genuine connection. This effort to connect on a deeper level further illustrates her emotional attachment, as she's not just interested in surface-level interactions. She's looking to strengthen the emotional ties between you two, and reaching out is her way of taking the first step toward doing so. In short, when a woman reaches out first, it's not just about saying hello or catching up. It's a signal that she values you, is thinking about you, and is invested in maintaining the emotional connection. Whether it's a sign of longing, affection, or just a simple desire to connect, this gesture speaks volumes about her emotional attachment and interest in you. Number 2, the content of her messages. The content of a woman's messages can reveal a great deal about her feelings and emotional investment in a relationship. When she takes the time to carefully craft her messages, it's often a sign that she's not just communicating for the sake of it, but is genuinely interested in connecting with you on a deeper level. What she chooses to talk about, the tone she uses, and the effort she puts into her words can all offer subtle insights into how she feels about you and the relationship. If she consistently shares personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences in her messages, it's a clear indication that she's emotionally invested. Instead of focusing solely on superficial topics or casual pleasantries, she may bring up moments from her day, her hopes for the future, or even her fears and vulnerabilities. This type of communication goes beyond small talk. It's about creating an emotional exchange. When she opens up in this way, she's giving you a glimpse into her inner world and in turn inviting you into her life. This shows that she values you enough to share these personal details, and she's likely hoping for a deeper connection as a result. In addition to what she shares, the way she writes her messages can be equally revealing. The tone she uses is a subtle but powerful signal of her emotional state. If her messages are warm, playful, or affectionate, it's a clear sign that she feels comfortable and positive toward you. She might send emojis, playful banter, or kind words, all of which indicate a desire to maintain a light-hearted and engaging atmosphere between the two of you. These signs show that she enjoys your company and is trying to keep the conversation upbeat, indicating she has positive feelings toward you. On the other hand, if her messages become more serious or direct, it could be a sign that she's seeking emotional depth or addressing something significant. She might ask thought-provoking questions or express concerns she has, signaling that she values the relationship enough to seek clarity or reassurance. For example, she might talk about her future plans and ask how you envision yours, or she might inquire about your thoughts on commitment. These deeper questions reflect her desire to understand where you both stand emotionally and whether you're aligned in your relationship goals. Lastly, if she makes an effort to keep the conversation going, asking follow-up questions, responding with enthusiasm, or showing curiosity about your life, it's a clear indication that she values your interaction and wants to nurture the connection. Her willingness to engage consistently through the content of her messages demonstrates that she's emotionally present and invested in continuing the conversation. When she shows interest in your thoughts and feelings, it's her way of expressing care and demonstrating that you are important to her. Number 3. Her reactions when you don't respond. Right away. When a woman doesn't receive a prompt response from you, her reaction can provide important insights into her feelings and emotional investment in the relationship. People often have different tolerances for waiting, and how she reacts or doesn't react can reveal a lot about how she values communication and her level of attachment to you. While some may not mind a delayed response, others might exhibit signs of concern, frustration, or even insecurity when they don't hear back quickly. These reactions are particularly telling when it comes to understanding her emotional state. If she's genuinely invested in you, a delayed response might trigger feelings of uncertainty or worry about the status of the relationship. One of the most common reactions is a follow-up message. This could range from a simple, "Hey, are you okay?" to something more passive-aggressive like, "I guess you're busy." Such messages are often driven by a desire for reassurance and an attempt to regain the emotional connection. When a woman sends a follow-up message, she's typically expressing a need for attention and wanting to know if everything is still good between the two of you. Her reaction might indicate that she places a high value on communication and feels disconnected or anxious when there's a gap in your interaction. Some women might take a more subtle approach by waiting to see if you'll reach out first. This could be her way of testing the waters to see how much effort you're willing to invest in the relationship. If she's emotionally invested, she might feel disappointed or even hurt if you don't take the initiative to reach out after a period of silence. It's her way of evaluating whether the emotional connection is still mutual. However, this silence can also trigger feelings of insecurity, leading her to wonder if you've lost interest or if there's something wrong with the relationship. She might then try to distract herself with other things, but the underlying emotional need to hear from you remains. Alternatively, some women might choose to hide their feelings, especially if they're trying to appear independent or avoid looking too needy. In this case, her reaction may not be outwardly obvious. She may act like it doesn't bother her or try to brush it off with humor or sarcasm. This type of response could signal that she doesn't want to come across as overly attached, but deep down, she may be feeling neglected or worried about the silence. Regardless of how she reacts outwardly, it's important to remember that her emotional investment and attachment are often linked to her reaction to not hearing from you promptly. Ultimately, how a woman reacts when you don't respond right away depends on her emotional connection to you. If she's seeking reassurance, feels insecure, or values communication, her reaction may reveal a desire for clarity and an affirmation of the bond you share. Ignoring or dismissing her feelings can lead to misunderstandings, so it's important to be aware of these reactions and address them with empathy and understanding. Number 4. She remembers the little things. When a woman remembers the little things, it's often a subtle but powerful indicator of how emotionally invested she is in you and the relationship. People typically forget small details over time, but when someone recalls the smallest aspects of your life, whether it's a conversation you had months ago or something as minor as the way you take your coffee, it reveals that she cares deeply and is paying attention to what matters to you. This focus on the little things is not just about showing interest, it's about creating and maintaining a deeper emotional connection. For instance, if she recalls the exact details of a story you told her, like remembering the song you mentioned hearing at a specific time or the quirky way you laugh, it shows that she's internalizing your words and experiences. These memories are important to her because they remind her of the bond you share. She's not just processing the facts of what you said, but also the emotions tied to those moments. This is especially true if she brings up details in the context of a conversation or a shared memory, reinforcing the emotional ties you've built together. Furthermore, the way she recalls these little details can reveal her level of emotional attachment. When she brings up these small pieces of information, it's often to reignite a connection. Maybe she'll mention something you've forgotten, and her intention behind recalling it is to bring a smile to your face, remind you of the good times, or even to subtly hint at a feeling or desire she might not have expressed outright. It's a form of communication that doesn't rely on words alone, but also on shared experiences and the memories tied to them. This behavior can also be a way for her to show that she's thinking about you when you're not around. When a woman remembers and brings up those little things, she's often reflecting on the bond you share, which tells you that she values the relationship and is emotionally engaged in it. If she recalls something you said in passing or a special moment between you two, it means she's keeping the connection alive in her mind, even when life gets busy. In relationships, attention to the small things can be one of the most profound gestures of care. It's easy to overlook these little details, but when someone makes the effort to remember and mention them, it shows a deep level of affection and a desire to keep the connection alive. Whether she's recalling a moment that made you both laugh or something that made you feel special, these small reminders often hold great significance. It's her way of saying, "I cherish what we've shared, and I'm still thinking about it." Number 5. She uses these details to reconnect emotionally. When a woman uses small details to reconnect emotionally, it's often a powerful and subtle way of rekindling the bond that may have faded or been affected by time and distance. The details she brings up are more than just memories. They represent moments of emotional significance that carry weight in the relationship. By referencing these details, she is trying to re-establish a sense of closeness and intimacy. It's her way of saying, "I'm still thinking about us and the moments that made our connection special." For example, if she mentions a place you both enjoyed visiting or an inside joke you shared, it's a signal that she wants to remind both of you of the positive emotions that existed during that time. These seemingly small recollections are often tied to emotional moments when you felt truly close or understood each other in a meaningful way. Bringing them up shows that she's trying to reawaken those feelings of connection, and it's not just a random conversation starter. It's a deliberate attempt to recreate the emotional atmosphere of those moments. What's especially telling is that these details often arise during times of uncertainty or emotional distance. If there has been a period of miscommunication or emotional disconnection, referencing the past in such a personal way is a way for her to signal that she wants to rebuild what's been lost. She's not just reminiscing for the sake of nostalgia. She's doing it because those moments hold emotional weight for her, and she wishes to reintroduce that emotional connection into the present. By bringing up those small details, she hopes to remind you of the bond that once existed and draw you back into the emotional space where the relationship was stronger. Moreover, using these details to reconnect emotionally is also an indirect way of gauging where you stand in the relationship. If you respond positively, with affection or enthusiasm, it reassures her that you still care and are open to rekindling the closeness. On the other hand, if you dismiss or ignore the significance of these details, it can make her feel uncertain about the state of the relationship, heightening any fears or insecurities. This emotional reconnection through small details is not just about keeping the past alive. It's about creating an opportunity to move forward with a renewed sense of closeness. By referencing shared experiences, she's actively trying to create an emotional bridge between the past and the present, making it clear that she values the emotional bond you share and wants to see it grow again. Number 6. She brings up the little things again. When a woman brings up the little things again, it's often a sign that she's trying to re-establish emotional intimacy or reignite a connection that may have faded over time. These little things aren't just trivial details. They represent moments, habits, or interactions that were significant in the relationship. She may recall things like how you used to laugh at certain jokes, the way you used to talk about your dreams, or the simple gestures that made her feel special. By mentioning these small but meaningful aspects of your past together, she's subtly trying to recreate the emotional atmosphere that once existed between you two. This tendency to bring up the little things is often triggered by a desire to reconnect on a deeper level. It's her way of saying that she remembers the good times and values what you shared. The emotional connection wasn't built on grand gestures alone, but on the little things that made your relationship unique. These are the moments that often get overlooked, but for her, they hold a deep sense of meaning. By bringing them up again, she's signaling that she wants to bring those feelings of closeness and comfort back into the present. Moreover, by mentioning these little details, she's offering you a glimpse into her emotional world. She's not just talking about the past for the sake of nostalgia. She's sharing pieces of herself that are emotionally significant. It's a way for her to remind you of what made the relationship feel special and to rekindle that spark. These small memories can also serve as a form of vulnerability, showing that she's still emotionally invested and wants to reawaken the connection you once had. However, this act can also reveal her desire for reassurance. If the relationship has experienced some distance or uncertainty, she may be using these memories to test the waters, She wants to see if you still value the things that once brought you close. If you respond positively, engaging with her memories and reciprocating her emotional openness, it can reassure her that you're still connected and that the bond isn't fading. On the other hand, if you dismiss or show indifference, it may increase her anxiety, making her question whether the emotional closeness you once shared is still there. Ultimately, when a woman brings up the little things, it's not just about nostalgia, it's about her wanting to re-establish a deep emotional connection with you. By recalling these details, she's expressing her longing for the bond you had and hoping to reignite that closeness once again. Number 7. She gets nostalgic. When a woman gets nostalgic, it's often a subtle yet powerful sign that she's emotionally reconnecting with the past, particularly moments shared with you. Nostalgia is more than just recalling events. It's about reliving the emotions tied to those memories. For her, these memories may reflect some of the happiest and most meaningful times in the relationship, and when she revisits them, it's a way of trying to recapture the emotional closeness and connection that once existed. Nostalgia is deeply tied to emotions, and when a woman reflects on past experiences, she's not merely reminiscing, she's reconnecting with the feelings those experiences evoked. If she starts bringing up memories of special moments you shared, like a trip you took together, the first time you met, or the late-night conversations you had, it's likely because she misses the emotional intimacy of those times. Nostalgia often surfaces when a person feels a longing for something that's no longer present, and for her, this could be a longing for the emotional closeness you had. By talking about these moments, she's not just expressing fondness for the past. She's trying to rekindle the feelings associated with it. It's her way of saying, "I miss what we had," without directly stating it. In some cases, nostalgia can also be a response to uncertainty in the present. If she's feeling unsure about where things stand between you, her mind may naturally turn to those moments that once made her feel secure and emotionally fulfilled. When she brings up those memories, she might be subtly testing the waters to see if you still share the same feelings, or hoping to see if the emotional connection that once existed is still present. By recalling these times, she's trying to reignite the bond and remind both of you of the closeness you shared. The type of memories she brings up is also revealing. If she mentions light-hearted moments like fun adventures or playful experiences, it could indicate that she misses the carefree dynamic between you. However, if she brings up more intimate moments, like when you shared personal thoughts or supported each other through difficult times, it suggests that she values the emotional depth you once shared. These deeper moments often carry more weight because they reflect a level of vulnerability and trust that is foundational to any strong emotional connection. Ultimately, when a woman gets nostalgic, it's a clear signal that she's emotionally invested in the past and is hoping to recapture those feelings. It's not just about longing for the good times. It's about desiring the emotional bond that was built during those moments, hoping to reignite it in the present. Number 8. She shows signs of jealousy. When a woman shows signs of jealousy, it can be a powerful and telling indicator that she still holds emotional investment in the relationship. Jealousy often arises when someone feels threatened by the possibility of losing someone they care about, and for a woman, it's often not about mere possessiveness. It's about the fear of losing the emotional connection and bond that she values deeply. If she begins to show jealousy, it's typically because she senses that her place in your life might be jeopardized by another person or outside factor, whether that's another woman or a shift in your attention. When a woman expresses jealousy, it's not always overt or dramatic. Sometimes it can be more subtle, such as her becoming more watchful when other women are around you or noticing small changes in your behavior. She might comment on the attention you're giving to others, especially if she feels it's detracting from the attention you once showed her. While she may not directly express her jealousy, the small remarks or changes in her demeanor signal that she's noticing these shifts, and they stir up feelings of insecurity or concern. This reaction is a natural response to feeling emotionally connected to you and wanting to safeguard that connection. In many cases, jealousy manifests when she feels that the emotional bond between you is threatened. If she notices that you're paying more attention to someone else, or if you've become distant or distracted, it can trigger a fear of losing that emotional intimacy. Jealousy, in this context, is her way of expressing that she values the emotional closeness you once shared and doesn't want it to slip away. It's a reminder of how much she cares and how deeply she wants to maintain her place in your life. The signs of jealousy may also be a reflection of her desire for reassurance. If she's unsure about where she stands in the relationship or uncertain about your feelings toward her, jealousy may arise as a way for her to seek confirmation of your interest and emotional investment. When she feels threatened, she might start vying for your attention more actively, hoping that her actions will remind you of the bond you share and reassure her that she still holds an important place in your life. However, jealousy doesn't necessarily indicate negative feelings. It's not always a sign of insecurity, but rather a reflection of how much she values the relationship and how strongly she wants to preserve the emotional connection. It's an emotional response that signals how much she cares and how much she's willing to fight for what she feels is emotionally valuable. If you notice signs of jealousy, it's essential to communicate openly with her about any concerns, affirm your commitment, and provide reassurance that the emotional bond you share remains strong. Number 9. She flirts with you more. When a woman starts flirting with you more than usual, it's often a clear sign that she's trying to re-establish an emotional connection and reaffirm her interest in you. Flirting is not just about being playful or seeking attention. It's a way for her to test the waters, gauge your feelings, and strengthen the bond between you. If she's been distant, or if there's been a period of uncertainty in the relationship, she may increase her flirting to reignite the chemistry and draw you back in emotionally and physically. Flirting can serve multiple purposes in this context. One of the key reasons she might flirt more is to gauge your response. If she's unsure of where things stand, or if she senses that the connection has faded, increasing her flirtation is a way to see if you still feel attracted to her. It's her way of reassuring herself that you're still interested, both emotionally and physically. If you respond positively to her advances, it affirms her belief that the attraction is still there, and it strengthens her emotional connection with you. However, if you don't respond or seem uninterested, it could trigger insecurities or doubts about your feelings, making her question the state of the relationship. Another reason for increased flirting is that it's a method of reasserting her presence in your life. If she feels like other people, whether other women or external factors, are threatening her place in your world, flirting can be her way of reminding you of the special bond you share. By increasing her flirtation, she's signaling that she wants to keep the romantic and emotional chemistry alive between you. She might throw out playful compliments, teasing remarks, or physical gestures to bring you back into her orbit and remind you of the connection that you once had. Flirting also serves as a more subtle way of expressing her feelings. Rather than having a direct conversation about her emotions or relationship status, she uses flirtation as a tool to communicate her desire for closeness without making herself vulnerable in a more overt way. It's a safer method of testing the waters to see if there's still mutual interest. This can be especially true if there's been a period of distance or uncertainty between the two of you, as flirting can help bridge that gap and reignite the connection that might have been lost. In essence, when a woman flirts more than usual, she's not just seeking attention, She's trying to rebuild and solidify an emotional and physical connection. It's a sign that she values the bond you share and is looking for ways to deepen it, especially if the relationship has experienced any disruption or distance. Flirting is her way of expressing attraction, seeking reassurance, and testing your feelings, all while subtly working to reignite the spark between you. Number 10. She flirts with you more. When a woman begins flirting with you more than usual, it's often a sign that she's trying to re-establish or strengthen the emotional connection between you. Flirting can be a subtle, playful way to test the waters and gauge your feelings, especially after a period of distance or uncertainty in the relationship. If she's been pulling away or if things have felt less connected, increasing her flirtation is her way of pulling you back into her orbit and reigniting the bond that may have faded. Flirting is not just about attracting attention or being playful. It's a method she uses to emotionally reconnect with you without directly stating her feelings. Through teasing, compliments, playful touches, or light-hearted remarks, she's signaling her interest in a more light, non-threatening way. This behavior can show that she still feels emotionally invested in the relationship and wants to remind you of the chemistry you once shared. It's a way for her to express attraction while testing the waters to see if you're still responsive and if the emotional connection is still there. Another reason a woman might flirt more is to gauge your interest. When she flirts, she's looking for signs that you're still attracted to her, both emotionally and physically. If you flirt back, it reassures her that your feelings haven't changed and that you still see her in a romantic light. On the other hand, if you don't reciprocate or seem uninterested, it can create insecurities, making her question where she stands in your life. Flirting, in this sense, acts as a way for her to confirm your feelings, providing her with reassurance about the relationship. Flirting can also be a sign that she wants to assert her place in your life. If she feels that there might be competition, such as other women vying for your attention, flirting becomes a tool to remind you of the unique bond the two of you share. It's her way of signaling that she's still emotionally and physically invested in the relationship, especially if she feels the connection might be slipping due to external influences. By flirting more, she's letting you know that she wants to remain a significant part of your life, both emotionally and romantically. Ultimately, when a woman flirts more than usual, it's her way of trying to revive a connection that may have weakened or faded over time. Whether it's to reassure herself of your attraction, to gauge your response, or to assert her emotional place in your life, flirting is a tool she uses to rekindle the chemistry between you. It signals her desire for a deeper bond and a longing to re-establish the emotional and physical connection you once had. Number 11. She talks about future plans. When a woman starts talking about future plans with you, it's often an indication that she's emotionally invested in the relationship and sees you as an important part of her life moving forward. Future plans are not just about logistics, they hold significant emotional weight. If she's casually suggesting activities for the upcoming weeks or even months, such as a trip, a special event, or something as simple as grabbing dinner together, it reflects that she's imagining a life where you both share experiences. This can be a subtle yet powerful sign of commitment, as women typically don't make future plans with people they don't see as significant. Talking about the future implies that she's not just focused on the present moment, but is mentally placing you in her life long term. By bringing up potential future plans, she is communicating that she wants you to be a part of her life beyond just the immediate present, which is an important step in deepening a relationship. For example, if she talks about attending a wedding together, going on vacation, or attending an important family event, these are not trivial suggestions. These types of future plans signal that she views you as someone she wants to include in the important moments of her life. This goes beyond casual interactions and signals a deeper emotional investment. In some cases, if she's been feeling insecure or unsure about the relationship, bringing up future plans might be her way of seeking reassurance. If there's been distance or uncertainty between the two of you, talking about the future can serve as an attempt to solidify the relationship and make sure that you both see the same long-term vision. It's a way of expressing, "I want to be with you in the future. Do you want to be with me too?" It offers her a sense of emotional security, allowing her to feel that the relationship is progressing in the direction she desires. The act of talking about the future also shows her desire to create stability in the relationship. If she feels like the relationship might be wavering, bringing up plans can help reinforce her sense of security and commitment. It gives both of you something to look forward to and strengthens the idea of a shared future. In summary, when a woman talks about future plans with you, it's a clear sign that she's emotionally invested in keeping you in her life. Whether it's a casual mention of an event next month or a more serious conversation about long-term goals, these discussions indicate that she values the connection and wants to ensure that you're both on the same page regarding the future. Number 12. She's active on your social media. When a woman becomes noticeably active on your social media, it's often more than just casual interest or a way to pass time. It's a subtle yet significant indicator that she's still emotionally invested in your life, even if she's not expressing it directly. Social media allows people to maintain a sense of connection without having to make the first move or appear too forward. So if she's consistently liking your posts, commenting on your photos, or watching all your stories, it suggests she's still paying attention to your life, even if she's not physically present. One of the most telling signs is when her engagement with your social media increases after periods of distance or uncertainty. If you've noticed that she becomes more active after you've posted pictures with friends, or especially with other women, this could be a sign that she's feeling some jealousy or insecurity. Social media gives her a way to monitor your life and gauge where things stand without directly confronting you. If she sees you interacting with others, it might spark feelings of wanting to remind you of her presence, subtly signaling that she's still around and paying attention. This behavior can also be seen as a way for her to stay connected to you without the risk of vulnerability. By liking a post, commenting on a story, or simply watching your updates, she's keeping herself in your thoughts while maintaining a safe emotional distance. It's low-risk communication that allows her to gauge your reaction and feel reassured without needing to reach out directly. It's also a way for her to keep tabs on you, seeing how often you engage with her posts or whether you seem to notice her presence online. Another important factor is the timing of her engagement. If she's more active on your social media after a period of being distant, or if she comments or likes your posts shortly after you've posted about hanging out with friends or engaging in an activity, it could indicate that she's trying to regain her emotional foothold in your life. She's likely hoping you'll notice her engagement and respond in some way, subtly rekindling the connection between you two. Ultimately, when a woman is frequently active on your social media, it's a sign that she's not just a passive observer of your life. She's engaged, emotionally connected, and perhaps even looking for ways to keep the bond alive without taking the first step toward direct communication. Social media gives her a space to maintain emotional closeness while being a bit more hands-off, allowing her to feel included in your world even from a distance.